something about the Prince Andrew story that never sat right with people. And it's not rumors, it's not internet speculation, it's the timeline. When you slow the story down, when you stop skimming headlines, when you actually line up what was said, what was done, and what quietly disappeared, the story starts to feel dirty. I want to walk through it slowly because once you see it, you can't unsee it. The Joe Rossano Show is next. Welcome to Joe Rossano Show. Hi, I am Joe Rossano. Here's the version the public was originally told. Prince Andrew said he cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein years earlier. He said there was nothing improper, no recollection of meeting his accuser. And for a long time, that explanation just sat there. No charges, no trial, no testimony, just statements and silence. And silence can be powerful. But then documents started emerging, not opinions, documents, records suggesting continued contact after the supposed cutoff date. Statements that didn't quite match earlier versions, details that only appeared after the pressure mounted. That's when people started asking one simple question. If everything is clean, why does the story keep changing? Clean stories don't need revisions. Then came the civil lawsuit. And instead of a courtroom, instead of testimony, instead of cross-examination, there was a settlement. Now, to inject some commentary here, if I were accused of the most heinous crime that I didn't commit, and my lawyer came to me and says, I talked to the prosecutor and the judge. You only have to do 1 weekend of house arrest. My answer is absolutely not. We're going to court. I will never make a settlement or a plea deal for a crime I didn't commit. Now, let me be crystal clear. A settlement is not an admission of guilt, but it does do something very specific. It ends questions. No discovery, no sworn testimony, no uncomfortable follow-ups. The story just stops. And when a story stops that way, people don't like that. Despite no criminal conviction, despite no trial, Prince Andrew lost his public role as prince, his military titles, his standing inside the royal family. That's not nothing. Institutions don't usually impose consequences like that without a reason, but they also don't explain those reasons publicly. So we're left in this strange place. Enough smoke to end a career, not enough clarity to answer the questions, and of course, never seeing the fire. That's unsettling. This is why people keep circling back to this story. Not because of gossip, not because of conspiracies, but because it feels like the truth lives somewhere in the middle and nobody is allowed to touch it. No day in court, just consequences and silence. That's not how justice usually works for regular folks. So if I'm wrong, show me where. Show me a straight story that never changed. Show me why this story ended the way it did. Facts only. Because until someone does, this story always feels unfinished. And unfinished stories make people uncomfortable for a reason. That's the problem. Now to your questions and comments from the jar. First question is from Tracy. Do you think Donald Trump victimized girls on Epstein Island? No, I don't. For this reason, we have the internet, we have social media everywhere, we have the 24-hour news cycle. Unless I miss my guess, I just have every reason to believe that the victim would have completely come forward and said, Donald Trump did this. I was with Donald Trump and he did this to me. I was trafficked to Donald Trump back in the day. I can't imagine there'd be silence. Donald Trump has been accused everything just short of the Kennedy assassination. Okay, so if he were to have had relations with a young girl that was trafficked to him in the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga, I just cannot imagine that the victim is not on 60 Minutes right now telling her tale. I mean, it took Stormy Daniels 4 seconds to say she had relations with Donald Trump, and this was after she got paid. So I just imagine it would be a major news story, and a victim or the victims would be on television, in the media, on social media, on podcast every single day. So I don't think so. And that's just my opinion. You asked, I answered. This from Martin. Joe, are you AI? Am I AI? Wow. Well, no. I mean, and how do I prove that? Anyway, even if I say I'm not AI, I could just be AI saying I'm not AI, but I'm not AI. And let me prove it to you because I can actually prove I'm not AI. I would have made myself much better looking than this. I really would have. I mean, you would have seen Brad Pitt sitting here, basically. You would have seen Zac Efron, Magic Mike. If this was the best I could do with AI, I got to tell you, I'm really in trouble. And as always, my dearest friends and fellow Americans, thank you so kindly for taking a little time to spend with your pal Joe Rossano on the Joe Rossano Show, where we are unfiltered, unbiased, and uncensored. As always, God bless you, my dearest friends and fellow Americans. Don't forget to adopt a pet, and we'll see you next time.